they obviously put me on drugs because it broke my back, my pelvis, my shoulder. Like I was a mess basically. There was a girl who was like in the ambulance and she had like curly hair, and I can remember like looking at her and she looked terrified.
One of the paramedics?
Yeah. Like she looked super scared.
Well, I mean, if the paramedic's looking scared, geez, and they see the worst of the worst, so not looking your best.
Yeah. So they gave me like a teddy bear, and that's all I remember.
Do you get to keep the bear? Or are
Yeah,
they, like...
I do have the bear.
Okay, sweet. I was worried that like they have a bear in the ambulance and like you're finding comfort in this bear, and all of a sudden you get out and they're like, okay, gotta say bye to the bear.
This is for in-ambulance use only.
That bear's seen some shit. Okay, very excited to be here with our guest today, Corinne, not Corey. Although you could call her Corey, but she prefers Corinne. And Corinne, I want to start the whole thing off by asking you this first question, okay? So for you, this year, graduating high school, it's going to be a massive milestone.
Yeah.
But for you, walking across that stage is a lot more than just getting your high school diploma.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us why that moment will mean so much for you.
To be honest, I really don't like learning. So I guess I'm like excited to be like done. I'm done with like science and math, and I'm gonna be a little bit like proud of myself because I came at school after like I got in like a car accident and stuff, and I still had a stroke, and I obviously still have a stroke. And I had almost no words at all. So it was really scary because like high school is already scary. So when you come with like no words at all, so I was just like, it felt really different. And it was really awkward. It was really like awkward for like a year for like my speech and stuff and like talking to people. And I was like messing up all my words. I still kind of do, but like it was worse. So yeah, it took me like a long time when I kind of like when it felt like normal.
When you say that you came to high school with like no words, do you mean that because you were in a car accident and you had a stroke that you like literally weren't able to speak?
Yeah, basically I didn't have a lot of like, it was really awkward like talking with people and they're like, oh like it's so like I'm excited to see you at school, like I hope like are you good, like, and I was like, oh, I'm good. I was just being like weird about it,
right?
Because I didn't have a lot of words.
So the reason why it's I mean, firstly, you're done with learning. I totally feel that and get that too. As soon as I was done high school, I was like, great, no more math, and haven't looked at it since. But the bigger sort of reason why this is such a big deal is because you were in a pretty severe car accident, which resulted in a whole laundry list of issues that were kind of presented to you and sort of changed your life trajectory in a really big way.
Yeah.
Take us back to the beginnings of that incident, at least from what you remember about that day. Give our listeners a little bit of insight into what happened to you to make the idea, this notion of you graduating this year, why it's so monumental, to kind of put that into perspective for them.
Like the day of sense. Like,
yeah. So give us a little sort of rundown of the accident itself. Like, and again, obviously, there's probably things you don't remember, but from what you know, what occurred and what happened that day.
So it was actually, I had like a good day, and I was with my friends and went to the beach and went like Starbucks and stuff, and then we came to like my friend's house, and we got like one of my other friend came to, and we put makeup all over our face just for like, it was just for fun, because the driver was like, he wasn't like someone we really cared about him, so it was just like, whatever, it's just for fun. So we went, and we were in the car accident for maybe like 2 minutes, possibly, and he was going really fast, and 2 people said, you're going too fast, and he just was like, keep going. He was still going extremely fast. And he wasn't really from there. So he didn't really like know exactly where he was at, I guess. And there was no the right light, right?
Street lights.
Yeah.
Right.
There was none of that, so it was really dark. I think I was on my phone, so I wasn't really like listening, I guess. But I can remember going like in the car, I was like, do you know what I mean when your car is like that? And I went like this, which I think going like that, I guess, like, I think it like made me get all like small, so I went like flying through the car, or not the car, the window. And I don't remember that, but I was like awake. I think maybe it was like I don't know, I think it was probably like trauma, so sometimes you don't like remember things.
Yeah.
So I think it did that.
So for our listeners, when you said you went like that, you were sort of tensing your body up, like you were sort of bracing, getting ready for some sort of impact. You knew something was going to happen. The accident happens. Was the accident with another car, or did the car just go off the road, sort of lose control?
It was just going too fast, so it went like the wrong. I don't really know how to explain. He kind of went like this,
Like
and it
slid
got in like
sideways?
a tree.
Okay, so
Whoa.
slammed into a tree.
Yeah.
And you yourself, like your body was ejected from the car?
Yes. It
Oh, wow.
rolled. Like
Oh,
the
wow.
car kept rolled. So I could have like died in multiple ways.
Sure.
So I could have just gotten like I just could have like crushed on the car.
Squished by the car. Yeah.
That could happen. But
Strung up in a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Whoa.
probably, what else? I mean,
Should we
what
talk about all the ways that
There's lots of ways.
What are
Right,
what are the like?
you
let's-
could have got flung from the car and impaled on a street sign?
Yeah, let's turn this into an episode. The new Final Destination is coming out in theaters soon, so I mean, there could have been multiple ways that this could have happened. So, but somehow you didn't die because you're
didn't.
here right now talking to
Yes.
us, Corinne. But I'm assuming that you didn't get off scot-free. I mean, you were tossed out of this car, and what happened? I mean, firstly, how many people were in the car, and did anybody die? Were there any fatalities?
everyone did live, or everyone lived,
Okay.
which is really good.
Yeah. Wow.
But I did not wear my seatbelt, and one of my friends did not wear a seatbelt, and another friend who didn't wear a seatbelt either. And then one had her seatbelt, and then two boys had seatbelts.
Okay.
So
Jesus, was
This
this
is
a clown car?
Yeah.
What the fuck? How many?
Full car.
Jesus.
Yeah. How many seats were
I
in
mean,
the
are we
car?
talking minivan or are we talking clown car? What's going on here?
it's actually a really tiny car,
Yeah. Okay. So clown car. Great.
basically.
That sounds very reminiscent of being in high school and having
Just
and,
yeah.
and having
4 of them were
A
in the
lot-
trunk. One
having
of
a
them was.
lot of people going, I feel like we can all get in this car.
Yeah. Goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of, I feel like it's somewhat important to point that out here is like, you know, like it's easy as probably a listener or like an adult listening to this and thinking like, what a fucking stupid decision. Like not wearing seatbelts, too many people in a car. And yes, obviously that is dumb to be doing. And at the same time, it's also true that a lot of kids in high school are doing these types of things. And like we did this type of thing. And
All the time.
yeah, I mean, it's in part telling stories like this is also important to highlight the importance of making smart decisions and, you know, like not driving too fast and doing these things.
Do you wear
I feel
your
like-
seatbelt
yeah.
now?
Yes, because if I got in like another accident, no one would even care. It'd be like really embarrassing. Too.
Yeah. Right. Right. They'd be like, this freaking girl, she's never learned. Never put that goddamn seatbelt on. Well, good for you. I'm glad you wear a seatbelt now. Very important. So you get flung from the car, which is, I just want to say that is horrifically scary and terrifying. Also, miraculous that you lived.
Yeah.
Considering all of the different ways you could have died, which we literally just scratched the
Just
surface. There's
scratching
so
the
many
surface.
more. I mean, you could have been, well, you know what, we'll leave that. So you survived, but you obviously were pretty messed up. Do you have any sort of recollection or memory of when you realized what had happened? You know, were you conscious after the accident, or was this like you woke up in hospital weeks later or something?
So in in the car accident, I obviously would have rolled and I would have sat there. So there was also like a puddle. So I also could have drowned.
Okay, so we're going back down the road of how many. Right, so you could have drowned. Right, I'm glad you opened the door because I wanted to talk about how you could have been electrocuted from one of the power lines.
There could have been
because drowning wasn't really on the table until just now.
I
really didn't think
there could have been an opportunistic bear that you know, like that just saw.
Guys, really, Final Destination.
Are you in Pictou County? I mean, what's going on? Like, are there mountain lions?
Endless,
like, what's you know?
Yeah.
So you land in a puddle
next
close,
to it.
but I was like this way, so I wasn't like that way. You know what I mean?
You were face down.
So this guy he was kind of like an older guy, and he heard like the crash, and he came. He like I don't know. He like ran down, and he saw me kind of like far, so he thought I was dead.
Oh yeah.
But I was talking, so I said, "Hey, like, sir, will you please hold my hand?" Which I was being polite. So that was good. And he held my hand for probably like a few hours.
Oh wow.
And I was in the place for like in the car accident. I was there for a long time. And I can remember like a little bit is like feeling that I wasn't like scared. I can remember screaming. I can remember that. And I can remember like feeling like almost like seeing I don't know how to explain it, like my body was like up.
Kind of like
like out of body
experience.
Kind of, yeah. Like I felt like I knew that I was gonna die, but I wasn't really nervous, I guess.
Right.
But the thing
which is common. That's a common experience.
Mm-hmm.
We've had people on the podcast who have had, they call them NDEs, near death experiences.
Yeah.
And there's this wave of like calmness and trust that kind of comes over you, which is kind of bizarre because like, you know, when you pull out and actually look at the scenario, it's scary and violent and you know, a lot of tension. But in your case, you were so messed up that there was like almost this, you just surrendered to the, you know, the situation, which is again, hearing that now is like really scary.
Yeah, it was not fun. So I was in the ambulance. I remember the absolute most because they obviously put me on drugs because it broke my back, my pelvis, my shoulder. Like I was a mess basically. And I can remember being in the ambulance, and I don't remember anything once I get in there. And there was a girl who was like in the ambulance, and she had like curly hair, and I can remember like looking at her, and she looked terrified. Like she was like mortified looking at me.
Like one of the paramedics?
Yeah. Like she looked super scared.
Wow.
Not a stranger. That just happened to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if the paramedic's looking scared, geez, and they see the worst of the worst, so you must have been not looking your best.
Yeah. So they gave me like a teddy bear, and I knew that I was on drugs. I knew that there was something kind of wrong. But I didn't even know what happened. It was just really weird, and I was just talking about this like bear. I was like, "Oh my god, I really like this bear. This is so nice." I was just like, I don't know, because I was probably on drugs and I was just being weird. And that's all I remember. And then
do you get to keep the bear, or are they
I do have the bear.
Okay, sweet. I was worried that like they have a bear in the ambulance and like you're finding comfort in this bear, and all of a sudden you get out and they're like, okay, like gotta say bye to the bear.
They're like,
I didn't want you to say bye.
Yeah, they're
to
like,
the
we
bear.
actually have to keep this for the next. Like this is for in ambulance use. Only.
Sloppy seconds.
This is
trauma bear.
We give this to everybody who gets in. It's
I'm
crazy.
glad that you got
that
to
bear's
keep it.
seen some shit.
It's crazy. Like when the paramedic is scared.
Yeah.
Because I was in a car accident.
Yeah.
Not nearly as immediately as bad.
How long did it
as
take?
you.
15 minutes. There we go.
Well, bad. We knew this was coming.
There's 2 people here. There's 4 people here, and 2 of them have been in a major car accident. So you'd think that maybe that might come up.
Did I mention I have cystic fibrosis?
Yeah, but that's.
Did I mention I have ADHD?
That's kind of weak. He takes pills and stuff. It wasn't nearly as bad as that. Like yours is going, holy shit, it's crazy that you're not dead. Mine, I was very much of the opinion while I was laying on the ground. I got hit by a car while I was riding my bike. And I was very much of the opinion that I was like, I'm fine. I just need to go to the hospital and see what's going on. But I had broken my pelvis, which I didn't know at the time. And they treat pelvic breaks really seriously because if the pelvis breaks, the bones can like puncture a bunch of your organs. And in the ambulance, the paramedic, I'm thinking I'm fine. I just need to go in and get fixed by the doctors. And the paramedic is like, okay, you're going to go to the hospital and things are going to be crazy.
Are you going to say what I think you're going to say right now?
What? No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
I was just gonna say that they said we're gonna bring you into the hospital and it's gonna be really overwhelming because like 50 people are going to poke and prod at you and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, why? Like I'm pretty much fine. And they were basically like, well, your pelvis is probably broken, and so you could actually be dying right now. And I'm like, whoa. That wasn't on the table until just now for me. Like I did not think that was what was going to happen. And now the paramedic is actually like tuning me into like how serious the situation is. And knowing that and then all of a sudden like everything changed because I went from thinking, oh, I might be fine to like the paramedic has basically just like showed their cards. What did you think I was going to say?
I mean, it's funny. I've heard him say that exact same story, but you replace your pelvis is broken and you could die. And so it's going to be really intense when you get in there. Replace that with your pelvis is broken. It's really bad. And you should expect that when you get in there, doctors are going to have to stick a finger up your butt. And I was like, why are you telling us?
Yeah.
Why are you telling that part?
Yeah.
Wait, because I mean that part didn't seem relevant.
So did the paramedics tell you that they had to stick a finger up your butt? Okay. So I mean, very scary, and obviously you're. This is like heavy trauma. Your body is shattered from bone wise, but also your head must have taken a pretty big. We would say a pretty bad bonk.
Pretty big bonk.
Yeah.
How bad was that bonk? Did you have head injuries?
Oh my, yeah, like 2. So obviously the stroke, and then I had like.
You had a stroke. Sorry, where does the stroke come in here? Was the stroke after the accident, or how did that play into this?
So they said that I had just a concussion, but I didn't have a concussion. I had a stroke. So yeah, when I came like in the ambulance or the hospital, I just slept for a super long time and like threw up and like I literally just slept for like 2 days and stuff. And then I started talking and also like the drugs and then concussion. Sometimes concussions actually be really bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my speech was terrible. I was calling everyone Corey or everyone Daddy or everybody Sparkles. So those are really
hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
We're like,
That's really funny. Just calling everyone Daddy and Sparkles and you, like your own name.
You're slurring your speech, and they're like, it's okay. She's just from Pictou County.
Whoa,
Hey,
shots
whoa,
fired.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa, dude.
I'm from Lower Sackville, so whatever.
Yeah, I'm from
It
Dartmouth,
doesn't
so
matter, yeah. Okay. So you're calling everybody these guys. So cute though. They're just like Daddy and Sparkles and Corey. That's really sweet, endearing.
And wait, and how old were you at the time?
15.
Okay, so you were going into high school.
No, I'm in like
Or you're in high school?
11.
Yeah,
Okay.
grade 11.
Oh,
yeah.
50.
No, 10, sorry.
Grade 10.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'd be in
yeah.
10, yeah.
Okay, so you obviously are severely concussed.
Yeah.
Do they think you end up having a seizure while you're under their care at the hospital?
A seizure?
Sorry.
She's like, I don't remember having
sorry,
seizure.
I said
stroke.
seizure. I think I'm having a stroke right now. You said stroke. I said seizure. I meant stroke. So now I'm saying, did you have a stroke in the hospital under their care?
So I had the stroke. So I was in the hospital for like when I was in the car accident, and
Yeah.
then I'm in the hospital in like Pictou County. Just like one day, I just sleep there, and then I come back in Halifax. So I come in the ambulance again in Halifax, and they think I had the stroke in like the other ambulance.
Oh wow.
They
Okay, in
think.
the transfer unit.
Yes.
Like being wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And were they able to did they know you were having a stroke while you were having a stroke, or they did not know this? They didn't know.
It would have been really hard to figure it out because I was bleeding to my body. What's it called again? Like
Internal bleeding?
yes,
yeah,
I was
yeah.
doing that. So
Oh
yeah,
no.
they just said I had a concussion for a little bit.
Okay, so they
Because all the signs of a stroke, I mean, if you're up and mobile and walking around, that might be a lot easier to tell if someone's
Yeah.
having a stroke. But if you're laid down flat, you've got a concussion, you've just been in a car accident, slurring your words or all the things that, I mean, those things are going to look like symptoms of the stuff that you've already been through, not necessarily
What's the acronym?
having a stroke.
The stroke. There's a stroke acronym,
I
right?
can't remember.
RICE.
Face. Fast. Fast?
You said it as if you came up with it, but it actually
No, I
actually
heard it.
came
I
from
heard,
Corinne's mom
I said
first.
face, and I thought it was right, but it was fast. Fast? Fast. What does it stand for? Freak. Face. Face. Arm. Let me think about it. Face. Arms.
Yeah,
Speech.
you got it.
Timing.
Complete-
That I think that I got it
You got it
right. I
completely
just thought of
on your
it
own with
on my
no
own.
help.
It's actually be fast. So balance, loss of
Breakfast.
balance, eyes, lost vision, face, facial drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, and toots. Bad gas. No, just joking. Time to call an ambulance. So again, okay, I want to just pull this back for our listeners here so that they kind of understand the severity here. You get in this crazy car accident, your body's shattered to bits. They think you have a concussion. You are seen at the hospital. They're going to transfer you to the IWK, which is the Children's Hospital here in Halifax, which a big reason why we're having this conversation is because of the amount of work that the IWK has done to help you. And they have a telethon coming up soon, which is really cool. But we'll get to that later. On the transfer to the IWK, you have a stroke. It is unbeknownst to the healthcare, the caregivers, because to them, they're thinking you have this concussion, and it's hard for them to see that you're having a stroke.
Yeah, it's hard because the first letter in the acronym is balance, as we just learned, and
can't
you're not
demonstrate that.
standing up.
Yeah,
so
you're
like
laying
they're
down.
like
You're laying down. How would they know?
they're like we know the acronym.
So I guess
This doesn't apply here.
Do you know? I'm guessing that somebody having a stroke
Yes.
without it being known, the longer that goes, potentially the worse that can be for the patient. What occurred after the stroke, and at what point did they start to clue in? Oh no, Corinne's having a stroke. This is bad.
Well, I also, like, my face wasn't, like, drooping. So, and I also had no speech. So I was, like, basically brain dead. So it wasn't, like, I had, like, a thing like this. Do you know what I mean? It, like, what are they called again?
A
Sling?
Yeah, I had a spring, I guess that. So my hand, like, all the way to my toes are completely numb. So, because it was, like, this. So it didn't really, like, I didn't really feel like that it felt like it was, like, numb. Because it was
Right.
just, like, this. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I didn't know, they didn't know I had a stroke till I was, like, I don't know. I think they, like, I was there for, like, 10 days? No, 5
Whoa,
days.
6 days?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And they
Oh,
said
wow.
that I was only going to stay there for, like, just, like, a week, which would have been really impressive because I just got in,
Right.
like, a car accident. I just, like, got to come home and go, like, right back to school.
I just want our
But-
listeners to know, people that are just listening, Corinne's mom's on the side here. And when she was saying 10 days, and I just jumped in and said, oh, 6 days? And you went, yeah. It's because your mom was holding up 6 fingers. Not that I just was
Not paying
totally
attention.
fucking
Yeah.
not listening to you going, oh, yeah, 10, 6. Okay. So thank you, Mom. Okay, wow. So what did, I mean, do you know now in retrospect, like the amount of time that you were suffering from having a stroke, that not being sort of care being given to that? What did that do? Like, what did that do in the end? Did that, obviously, like you've mentioned that you have trouble with your words sometimes. And at the very
Yes.
beginning, you said you know, coming into your final year of high school, you came in without your words. What did the stroke and the head injury end up doing to you, and what did recovery sort of look like?
So, like, yeah, I guess coming, like, leaving from the hospital and coming in, like, school and, like, making, like, I guess my life kind of, like, normal, I guess. But I feel like people would think that, like, when you leave the hospital, you think everything's going to get better.
Yeah.
But it's actually, like, significantly, it's worse. It would be rather, like, everything comes and it's totally different.
That's where the hard work starts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the hard part. So I
I mean,
did
like,
a lot of...
like when you're in the hospital, there's like, you know, a plan, and like you're doing this thing each day, and they're like, okay, we're gonna get you up at this time and walk you around, and then you're gonna take this medication, and people are coming in to see you, and they're like doing things to take care of you, and then they send you home, and they're like, you're good enough to go home, but now the rest of recovery is like your, I don't want to say responsibility, but like, you know, like you yeah, you have to take control of that process. Is that sort of what you mean? Like there's support there and then there's not in the same way?
When I come home, like when I left the hospital, so I had like a blood clot. You know what I mean? So like I couldn't do anything. I couldn't dance. I couldn't work out. I couldn't go to parties. I just could do nothing. I just could like go at school and come home and I don't know, like watch a movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really, I had a lot of FOMO because I was missing like everything.
And dance was a big part of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was really hard, and like my friends would hang out with me a lot, and they were really good for me. Like they're really nice to me and stuff, and it really felt like to me that I felt like no one really wanted to hang out with me because I had no speech and I couldn't do anything. I was really no fun, I guess, and I wasn't overtly happy. So I just felt like everyone like felt bad about myself, or just felt bad about me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that was really hard. That took me like a long time to get like, I guess, like confident. But
how did you find that confidence?
I guess when my speech got better. Definitely that.
And what did you do to work on your speech? Was that stuff that you were doing through the IWK to work on that speech? What did that look like? Like what did that therapy look like for you?
Oh, when I was in the hospital, I'm really happy that my birthday is in October because I would have been in a different hospital with like an adult. So I was with like the younger kids.
Right.
So
the IWK, for folks who don't know, is the children's hospital here in Halifax.
And it's got like bright painted walls and stuff.
It's such a joy.
It's nice.
Yeah.
But then when you go into the adult hospital,
The transition to adult hospital is
no shade, but it's like
no shade thrown. I did it. It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks.
It's awful.
It's really bad.
beige walls and the food sucks.
Hey, I love the IWK the CF team at the QE2, but the transition from children's hospital to adult hospital is a really hard thing. The fact that you were able to be at the IWK is incredible because the work that they do is incredible.
And the food is actually way better there.
Which is funny because when I'm sick, like if I was in the hospital for an extended period of time, I feel like a baby. Like I feel like the kid version of me. You know, like I want to be a kid and I want to be treated like a kid and taken care of like a kid. And so like if I go to the adult hospital,
You're a friggin' adult.
I want cartoons painted on the wall.
There's something kind of nice about the hospital for like a day, and then it gets old really quick.
Yeah. So
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So your time is and Corinne was there for more than a day.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like,
probably got old. Quick.
I know what you're saying in terms of like being taken care of and like having people show up when they do in that way, but also you're saying that like
getting free fingers stuck up your butt. Like it's just it's great.
Yeah.
Like taken away from the fact
didn't have to pay for it, didn't have to ask anybody. Just automatic.
Anyway, I know what you're saying. I just don't want to indulge it.
So what did the work look like to work on your speech when you were at the IWK? Do you remember what that sort of practice and work looked like?
Yes. So I really like Taylor Swift. So they would do lots of like speech things, I guess, or like learning, or like to say like how to like say cat and just like random stuff like spelling and stuff. So they would do it like they try to make it fun that they possibly could. You know what I mean? So I liked that. It was really like I say like I don't know. They were really nice, and they really like I feel like they really went like out of their way for me that they didn't have to.
Did they work Taylor Swift into those? Like, were they trying to get you to sing her songs and like
stuff like that? So, and my nurses I really like my nurses.
Were they also Swifties?
Yes.
Who's not a Swiftie?
I feel like I feel
like you're more likely you're more likely, it'd be harder to find a non-Swiftie.
I know.
My biggest regret of the last
few
few years is not going to the Eras tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there'll be another one.
Well, there won't be another Eras
She'll
tour.
play more shows though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually.
You'll reach your dream.
I don't know if it's quite the same though. That was a special tour.
It is. Yeah, totally. I mean, you can see it in theaters. A friend of mine had a stroke a handful of years ago, and I remember her telling me that something that she felt with regards to her speech that was really frustrating was that she like her it felt like her brain like knew what to say, and it knew she knew what she wanted to communicate, and she could think the right thing, but it wouldn't come out when she tried to express it. And it was like there was just like a disconnect between her what she wanted to say and what her mouth would actually do. Was that was that similar for you? Like, was there like points of frustration where you're just like, you go to say something and you go, that's not what I wanted to do, and I just can't help it right now?
Yeah, sometimes it can be really embarrassing a little bit. Like when I had like no speech and I would like talk about things, I would like say something wrong and I'd be like, oh my God, what is wrong? I would just be like, yeah, it's really weird.
And that's where that lack of confidence kind of comes from, right? Like feeling like you just don't have the ability to keep up, or the ability to get the thoughts out that you have, which can be really frustrating.
Yeah.
I mean, like obviously there's the speech therapy and the things that they're doing there at the IWK to like help you facilitate communication. Was there any work towards the sort of emotional and mental struggle that you are talking about that you got through the IWK? Like, were they helping you frame what you were going through so that you could try to find that confidence in a better way? Like, what did that look like in terms of the emotional side?
There was someone in the hospital who came, and it was like, I guess it was like a therapy thing. She would just like, we would just talk about things like that, and we do that a little bit. And that was nice. Yeah.
Did you find it helpful? Like, were you having any sort of negative thoughts about the accident?
Oh yeah, there was I think what the hardest is if you broke your arm, they tell you like I'm going to tell you when you'll be like better. So when you have a stroke, no one completely knows when you're going to be, I guess, better, or like life will be normal.
Right. So like because you don't know that, did it cause like stress or feelings of frustration or anxiousness around wondering like when you're actually going to be better?
Yeah, it was super frustrating, but I wasn't trying to like freak out at like other people because it wasn't their fault. Like there was it was hard for me to think, like I was so mad about myself, like why would I not wear my seatbelt and why would I be in that car? Like I really tried not to think I really tried to not think about stuff like that because I can't change what happened.
Right.
But
yeah,
that's a good. I mean,
makes a lot of sense.
The mindset to have. I mean, because it's like, I experienced that exact same thing. I get hit by this car on a bike, and I'm going. If I had slowed down, if I had slowed down 20 minutes earlier and spent one more second at that stop sign, or if that light hadn't turned green, or if I had chosen this slightly different route,
or if you weren't watching Netflix on your handlebars on your phone while you were biking down the hill.
That is the part
that was kind of the big one.
That's the part that I left out. But if I wasn't doing that, then all these little things, or like you can think back until the beginning of time and go like, literally every moment in my life has led me to this moment where this happened.
You'll start to go crazy.
And if one thing was different, then it wouldn't have happened. But like, the reality is, you can't change anything like that. So it's.
Do you remember the moment, or one of the first moments where you started to feel like, okay, I think I'm starting to like recognize my new normal, where things are starting to feel a lot better than they were?
I think when I got my blood clot off, when they took it, like I didn't have it anymore, then I was like, okay, like I can make my life better. I can make it I can make it more normal.
And where did that feeling come from? Was it because you could feel it? It felt different, or it was just the idea of like, okay, they've taken care of this one thing that I know is an issue, and now I can move forward. Like, or did you literally feel like, oh, the blood clot's gone? I can see clearly.
Yeah, that really made me like significantly happier. And I was like, the good thing, I missed a lot of school because I would get in the stuff. So
sick.
That was kind of good.
Yeah.
Like a win is a
Hell
win.
yeah, dude.
You guys really hate learning, eh?
Learning's for losers.
There's a big difference between learning on your own terms and learning in school.
I think that's the other thing too is, and I wasn't going to say it at the beginning, but like I was somebody who, so after high school, I went to university for something I didn't really want to do, and dropped out after the first semester and then tried it again the next year and same thing happened. But like as I've gotten older and I've found interest in things that I actually want to learn about, pursuing education and like learning about those things is so much more fun and enjoyable because I'm not being told like, you have to learn about cell biology and like this thing and that thing and the other thing, even though I find some of those things cool now. But yeah, like when people are telling you what you have to learn and what's important to learn, obviously there's importance behind that, but I can see how it's not fun.
You
when
should
you have
be
to
in
do
high
that.
school when you're 30. High school should start at 30.
Yeah.
We'd all get
Really.
way more done if high school started at 30.
I would be interested in the courses now in a way that I wasn't.
Speaking of learning,
Of course.
I'm curious, like, did you learn much about like brain plasticity and like how the brain can heal over time through this process, whether it's through the care that you received or through conversations with like mom afterwards? Like what do you know about the brain's ability to kind of relearn and reconfigure itself?
Yeah, I think it is like actually kind of cool, like with my brain and stuff that like, I don't know, I like almost like think in my brain, like if I'm like want to say something, I like, I don't know how to explain it. I was talking with my dad. So if there's like certain like something that I can't say, I like can think about it in my brain. It almost feels like not like color, but like almost like a cartoon in my like brain when I like say, I don't know how to explain it, but it's really weird that like never used to happen before I had the stroke
Whoa,
in my
that
speech.
Sounds so cool.
It does sound cool.
Yeah. And do you find that helps? Like, you know, to try to focus on this cartoon or focus on this idea? Like, is that something that helps you get the words out?
Yeah.
Cool.
But sometimes I find it really hard. I don't really like when I talk to someone, I don't really look at their like eyes because I have to like think so much in my brain. They're not just like I can't just like look at someone.
Right.
So that's really weird, I feel like. But I'm scared that people are like, why is that person not looking at me? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
'Cause it's like so much. I have to think so much in my brain, but it's really, a lot of effort for talking. But I love to talk, so it's okay.
And so do you feel like you have to look at their mouth so that you like look at their mouth, or that you need to kind of like look away and like process, like really process what they're saying when they're speaking to you?
I just kind of like, I don't really look that much at like someone. I just kind of like think, just so I don't like mess it up. What I'm gonna say.
Well, just so we're clear, just like I just want to let you know. Like, you keep looking at me when I'm talking to you, and you keep looking at him when you're talking.
Yeah.
So, like, do you mean like you're kind of just like you know, like dead behind the eyes, like staring through them? Because like you look like you're looking right at.
I was
me
gonna
when
say
I'm talking.
I
Your eye
didn't
contact's incredible.
I didn't have a stroke, and I feel the way that you feel about looking at people when
I
you're
find I
talking.
always look
so-
at people's mouths.
Yeah, that's a hack.
That's a hack.
That's a hack for sure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking when I notice that I am obviously looking at your mouth,
I'm looking at your mouth right now.
but we're far enough away that I can't tell. But if
Yeah.
I was closer to you, I'd be like, "You're looking at my mouth." What? Like, look.
Do
up
I have
here.
something in
Look
my
up-
teeth?
Look up, yeah, look up here. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like people are going, "Why?"
If you ever want to like really f- with someone in a way that's really fun, is when they're talking to you and you're looking at them like you're looking at me right now. Instead of looking at their eyes, just look at the tip of their ear and just watch how uncomfortable they get after after just a few moments, because they're like, "What? Where are you looking?" It's so funny. I'm curious about this is one of those things. We've spoken to a lot of people on the show over the last 10 years of doing this with people who live with like invisible disabilities, right?
Yeah.
You might look at me and not know that I have cystic fibrosis because it doesn't appear outwardly that I have that.
Yeah.
And for you, you know, you have this disability that doesn't show on you. I would never know unless you had told me.
Mm-hmm.
So have you had many experiences since the accident where you are misunderstood or misinterpreted, or, you know, people don't understand because you have this invisible disability? And if so, how do you handle those situations?
I think it really depends. I think there's some people I'll say like, oh, I need something to say. I had a stroke. I don't have all my words, so I might need like some of my words can be a little messed up. I need a little help sometimes, or sometimes I don't really care, and I'll just like it might just take me a little bit longer. Like I love Pita Pit, so when I go to Pita Pit and I like have to say what I want, it takes me like a little bit longer, kind of, and it like I might mess up like a vegetable. And the people like sometimes people laugh a little bit because I think it's like I'm like ditzy. But I'm not
Right,
ditzy. I
right.
just had a stroke.
It's like, she doesn't have
yeah,
pronounced
like-
tomato.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. So I think it really depends.
What's your go-to pita pit order? Let's put it to the test.
So I love mayonnaise and I love cucumbers, lettuce. Sometimes I say lettuce, but I mess it up. Like I said a little bit weird. So they kind of laugh when I say that. I just like the vegetables, and then I just like cheese, like lots of cheese.
I'm gonna give you an A+ on that order.
We
That's,
gotta
I mean,
stop talking
you-
about
yeah,
pita pit,
yeah,
guys,
yeah.
'cause
You
it's
said lettuce
Yeah.
correct
1
both
o'clock
times.
and I'm
Oh,
hungry
good.
and
Yeah.
I can't talk about pita pit right now.
How long, like altogether, how much time did you end up spending in the hospital, and like what did the entire like recovery period up until now look like in terms of time?
The time?
Yeah, like how long it took until you were like back in school and hanging out with friends.
I was in the hospital for probably 2 months, maybe.
Wow.
Yikes.
Oh,
That's a big
3
stint.
months. Yeah, so I was there for a while. But my best friend would come visit me a lot. That was really good. And she'd bring me like ice cream and stuff. But yeah, when I came in the hospital, my mom made me go right after I came in the hospital. I go to school right after school.
Ugh.
So I was like, "Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I just
right.
had a stroke, and now I have to go to school."
Oh
Ew.
man, that
Like-
Ew.
Yeah.
I didn't work for 6 months, and I wasn't nearly as bad as you.
I wanted to ask one
Taylor's
more.
trying to milk that lawsuit money, but anyway, whatever. That's
I wanted to ask one more
We'll cut
question
that out,
about.
don't worry.
I wanted to ask. I'll start again here. I wanted to ask about relationships too. When you go through an experience like this, I think we've heard from a lot of guests like, there will be people that show up for you that you didn't necessarily expect. There will be people that you wish would show up, but kind of don't when you need them the most. What was your experience with friends?
It was actually good. My friends couldn't have been any better with no words. Like, who really wants to hang out with someone if they're had no words? It's like, I don't know. And
Yeah.
I was kind of a different person for a while, and now I am the same person, but it just took me a while.
Yeah. It's like when Taylor got in his accident, he was kind of boring to hang out with. Like you go over and I remember one of our
All he wanted
first
to do is show us how he could do a wheelie in his wheelchair.
yeah.
Well, that's an old
one day
school skill from
I
childhood.
I had to push Taylor down the street to the liquor store in his wheelchair, and it was his first time out on bumpy sidewalks, and he wanted me to go slow over the bumps.
There's something
like-
about the way that you phrase that really just frames me as a degenerate.
But
that,
Take me on down to the liquor store.
yeah,
Yeah.
what's his name from
Come
Forrest
on,
Gump?
come
Yeah.
on, Brian.
No
Eat my
legs.
smokes.
So-
Eat my smokes. in my-
so I did push him down the street, but he wanted me to go slow, and it was kind of annoying, it's a
Yeah.
5-minute walk when you're not in a wheelchair,
Yeah.
but it's now all of a
My
sudden
pelvis
a
was
30
broken, and there's
minute
the
thing.
grooves in the sidewalk that go da-dum, da-dum, da-dum,
And I'm
da-dum,
like,
da-dum.
dude, I could have gone down and come back faster, but he wants fresh air and stuff, and he's so f***ing needy, and so you have to do all these things for him. But no, but it is difficult. I mean, I kind of want to frame this in the right way. It is not fun, spending time with someone who's not able to do those things, but at
Okay.
the same time, you want to be there for the person.
Yeah, you don't want to sound like the worst person ever.
Yeah, and to you, obviously, it would mean a lot that your friends are showing up and doing stuff.
that's kind of the essence of good relationships in general, is that it's not all just sunny days, and that's what a good relationship
and that people will show up when you need them.
is that despite the fact that you can't party or you can't hang out and do the things that you were supposed to do, or maybe you're just sitting around and not even talking at all because your brain is
You have
not
a praxis
processing
and you can't
words.
speak. Yeah.
And the fact that is okay, that you can be
Mhm.
there together on those rainy days and be the support that might not be the most fun thing to do, but is actually really rewarding and shows you who your friends really
And
are,
that's the biggest thing.
strength of the
Yes.
relationship.
Those people that do really care about you will show up in
Yeah.
those moments.
It's sometimes those things are really great filtering processes for showing you who are the people that really that are with me no matter what.
Yeah.
Are there things that you from a health perspective, things that you like can't or shouldn't do anymore? I mean, aside from like getting in a car and sitting in a car without a seatbelt on, like, I know you're not of the age to be doing this, but like maybe someday you're going to be like, oh, I want to have some wine with my mom or we'll just leave it at that. Are there things that you can't do now, or that they go, hey, maybe you should lay off doing this or that, to keep your brain as healthy and functional as possible?
I really like thrill things. Like I love fairs and stuff. So this year I couldn't do any fairs.
Yeah.
This year I can.
Okay.
But like I couldn't do rugby. But it's not like I was going to do rugby anyway.
Right. But anything that could like potentially lead to a concussion or something.
Yeah.
Like that. But it's all good now to like get on the zipper and spin yourself into a tizzy.
I think I would definitely try, but I probably wouldn't like ask the hospital just because they would say no.
Yeah,
but.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They'd be like, don't get on the teacup.
I mean, to be fair, they have to err on the side of caution.
Yeah.
You know, like
The fair?
Of course.
No, the hospital.
Oh, yeah. I was
The
like,
fair.
fair. I was like,
The
fairs
fair.
don't.
There's no caution.
Fairs don't.
Absolutely not.
The fair throws caution to the wind.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, and safety inspections. And
The
stuff like
scariest
that,
moment of my entire life was when I was on the zipper at the fair and I felt weightless for like way too long. And I was like, I think the ride fell apart. And I screamed like a baby.
Yeah,
It was really embarrassing.
because you could hear the screws coming loose and clanging.
I didn't
cage.
scream. I was on the ride with my brother and I made this sound that was like just like
you had a stroke.
like I made the sound of fear came out of me. And scariest moment of my life.
I have a question just to
That's
kind
pretty
of
good, Bri.
rewinding back to your time at the
Try to keep it that
IWK.
way.
You were there for 2 months. That's a significant amount of time to be in a hospital. Was there anybody at the IWK on your sort of your team of healthcare providers that stands out to you that really made that experience special, or someone who kind of went out of their way to care for you?
I had a nurse that I really liked. Like I would actually hang out with her as like a friend. But I really liked her. Her name is Emily.
Mm-hmm. Shout out Emily.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, nice.
She came and saw me like not that long ago, like maybe like a week. I saw her in like a week, and it was really nice to see her because I haven't seen her for like a year.
Yeah. And what was it about her care that like stood out for you?
She was just really, really kind. She was like literally the nicest person ever in my entire life.
Mm.
And I just liked her like personality.
Mhm.
Mm. I mean those moments are so important. You know, as someone I've spent quite a lot of time living in a hospital, being admitted for 3 weeks at a time for multiple times over the span of my life and different surgeries and stuff. And there are the moments where you're in a hospital where you basically like, I'm moving in, like this is where I'm going to be living for the next little while. And you have people coming in, they all have a different job, down to the nurses, to the like spiritual advisors, to the physicians, even down to like the janitorial staff that are coming through cleaning the room. And there's the people that are there doing their job. And, sometimes maybe they're tired, had a bad day, whatever. And that you can pick up on that. But then there's the people that just go above and beyond, and it just makes such a massive difference.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to hear that there was, it seems like there was a number of people that were like that at the IWK that were there to help you like that. But big shout out to Emily for being that baller nurse who made your stay there so nice. I love that. It
was a really good hospital. I mean, no one wants to be in a hospital for a while, but it felt like it was like, I don't know, like Disney, but like a hospital. It was the
IWK is the reason I live here. My whole family moved to Halifax because we were all in Newfoundland, and my parents chose to move here.
There's no hospitals in Newfoundland.
No such thing as hospitals in Newfoundland. That's right. Yeah. It was all the witch doctor. We just had a witch doctor.
That's right.
And he was just a fisherman down on the on the shore. I'm actually with you. That's not true at all. There's hospital, guys. But the IWK was the hospital, and it's still to this day. I think it still is. What would you say is the biggest thing that your accident has taken away from you?
I think my speech has gotten pretty good. And sometimes I like to go in school and I like go talk to random people and just see if if they think there's something wrong with me. And then like when I did it once and I just talked to someone like a whole like at like school, I didn't say anything and we talked about like random stuff and then I said like, hey, did you like know, do you think there's something like wrong with me or anything? He was like, no. I was like, I had a stroke. And they're like, oh my God, you had a stroke? Like what? So that makes me happy. So I think my speech has gotten pretty good. So I think maybe at the moment is probably my eyes. So my eyes are totally normal, but my the stroke made it like this kind of.
So you're covering half of your eyes. So like you've lost part of your vision.
Yeah,
right?
Little bit.
A little bit.
So sometimes I get like some migraines
Right.
or my eyes just get sore.
Right.
And that's really annoying.
What would you say is the biggest thing that this accident has given you?
Oh. I think I'm a lot safer. Definitely. And I would really like to do like speech things with people. Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, I've done like a few things. I went to Alberta and talked about like the car accident and the stroke and stuff. And there's really a lot of people who like have things that like kind of like came like similar to them a little bit. Like obviously didn't have strokes, but like maybe like something that like made them felt like they've been in hospital or something. Like, I don't know, like they had cancer or something. And it felt like it was like this person who was at the speech thing that I was doing, a girl who had cancer, and she told me like, what you were saying felt really similar to me. Like, obviously it's different, but I really felt like it with you when I came, and it felt like coming home was really different and everything was new.
Mm-hmm.
So I like making people who like make them kind of, I guess, makes people feel better about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you
like
hope
that.
that your story might help someone who's in a similar position or facing similar challenges that you went through? How do you hope your story helps them?
I want someone to know that like there's really a lot of people who like tell you that like that you can't do something, but I really feel like you should always try the best you possibly can. And I feel like there's really a lot of hope is all you really kind of need.
Mm-hmm.
That I think.
Well, Corinne, man, you're rad. It's
Thank you.
Just like you went through something so extraordinarily, horrifyingly scary and traumatic, and you've come out on the other end with an unbelievable recovery and just a beautiful spirit. And I'm so excited for you to. I mean, your life is just beginning. You're like you haven't even graduated high school yet. It's amazing. You have so much ahead of you, and thank you. Just thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to come and sit down and share your story with us, because it's a story that not only is just like jaw-droppingly astounding, it's also, like you just said, one of those stories that will and can really help people that are in a position where they find themselves, staring down the face of a big challenge. And I hope that you just continue to thrive and continue to find more and more of your voice as time passes. So thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks, Mom. Thanks for sitting by the sidelines, helping us out.